Yo, good morning, everybody. My name's Richard Butler, and welcome to the Apex Brotherhood live trading session for London. I hope everybody's doing well. Give me a second to just run a quick little disclaimer, and then we'll get into the markets immediately. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome. It is Tuesday the 16th. One more day until we have the US rate funds information. So maybe one more day for us to actually make some good profits. Let me quickly get some music up for us. Which one am I feeling today? I think that one will do. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, let's have a look-see at the markets. Oh, why is my screen share not on? Why did you go off? There we go. Much better. More better. All right, let's have a look-see. This is EU. All right, let's stick to EU quickly. Let's have a look-see today, 1 hourly. Let's look what yesterday did. Yesterday we had a nice little bullish movement. We had a little bit of consolidation over Tokyo. A little slow movement. Well, technically Friday as well wasn't. Friday was a bit up and down. So Tokyo had a little bit of consolidation. We made a 1 hour base, and then we started moving out of that base. When New York opened up, we retraced a little bit, and then we just consolidated up until Tokyo morning, and then we started pushing up a little bit. We made another hourly base, and we're continuing to go up. So I am seeing we are in a bullish trend for the day so far, a continuation of yesterday's bullish trend. Let's go down to the 15-minute. What are we looking for? We have a 15-minute base area down here. This is an area of interest. We had price trade above it at the beginning of the morning. This is a little bit of a consolidation area. Let's just call it a base. It tried to push lower, failed, retraced, tried again, failed completely, and pushed away. So this area for me on the 15-minute is a area of interest. Should we eventually come back to it, then we can most probably react off of it again the same way that we did here. So let's say for argument's sake, we do come down, we'll test it, maybe retest it, and then continue up, but that is still going to be a while if that were to happen. So there's an area of interest for me there. And then we had the rally, a small little base, and then a continuation of the rally. So if I mark this out as a 15-minute base, we'll see that price moved out of it, created the daily high so far, came back to test it, attempted to go higher, retested it, and then started shooting up. So once again, we are definitely in a bullish channel at the moment. Oh, misclick that. Why am I misclicking? There we go. All right. This is another 15-minute base. I feel like this bottom one might be slightly stronger. Not the bottom one, sorry. The top one might be slightly stronger, because if you pull it back, this whole section where it attempted to go higher and then retrace in again, attempt to go a little bit higher, just consolidating and then pushing out. This is the last area we had proper strong upward movement, the most recent upward movement section. So this one to me is more of a base than the previous one. Let's have a look at the half hour, whether or not, yeah. So on the half hour, this is definitely more of a base than on the 15-minute, on the bottom one, I mean. So to me, I am looking for okay, so we just wicked above. Ah, okay, there we go. There's the area of interest. So let's look at the most. This was a attempt to push lower, last attempt. So this box to me is the most recent. We're in it currently. Okay, so this is the most recent area to test. Let's see if we can refine it. Maybe on this one. That seems a little bit better. That does seem a little bit better. So an attempt here would it be 15 pips? So about 12 to 13. Well, obviously from this exact point where I marked, but I mean, it could retrace a little bit deeper, obviously. So back to the 15. We are still going to look for a 1-to-1. Ideally, something like this, where price on the 15-minute retraces a little bit, or even on the 5 would be fine. Retraces ever so slightly, attempts to come back down to this 15-minute base, and then reacts off of it with a continuation. I think something like this is what I would be looking for on EU. On the flip side, if we do not even come remotely close to this area, there was another area where we were right now. So we do have a drop base drop. So this one here. I miss clicking today. What's going on? Don't want to extend it all the way to the right. Okay, so this seems like the most probable movement, or the most probable outcome is that if we break above this box, because we've had multiple attempts, let's say, at trying to move through it. So it started here. We had the upward trend on the hourly, and then we reached a plateau, and then we attempted to go higher, we failed, started pushing a little bit lower, so we're effectively making... Oh, that is the wrong one, this one. So this was the last high that was printed, then we made our first low, then a lower high, a lower low, an equal high, but a quite stronger lower low, and then the start of the new downward trend. So this is definitely where the downward trend initiated. So it attempted to push back into it, it failed, it rejected off of it, it carried going down quite a bit, and then attempted again. So this is definitely the strongest area of resistance at the moment on the hourly. So down on the 5-minute, oh, oopsie, that was a mistake. We need to push above. We need to break above, close, and then attempt to push into it and then go up again. But inversely, what can also happen is we can completely fail. We can maybe push in a little bit to take up some liquidity, and then start pushing lower, reattempt, and then continue down. Eventually, with the idea of reaching this bottom point of interest, which seems to be the thing that, well, it's what I'm going to be looking for at least first. It needs to break above this box first before I'm going to necessarily take a buy. So that is EU. So maybe just mark it. What I think might happen if there's something like this. So this is likely. And then we have the push above and then continuation. Hopeful. This is hopefully what will be happening. Okay, so we're having the break now. Okay, so we'll just keep an eye on that one for now. GU is showing some nice strength. This is on the 5. Let's have a look at the hourly. Oh, GU looks nice. GU looks very nice. So we had yesterday we had a hourly base here, and when Tokyo opened up this morning, we also had this low point down here. So GU looks good. GU looks like it wants to continue up. Let's have a look at the 4 hourly. Oh yes, 4 hourly looks a lot better as well. So if I were to just use this very last candle, something like this. Yeah, this looks really nice. On the 4 hourly, GU looks really nice. What can we aim for? Okay, this was the most recent swing point. So we were moving up. Bullish. Failed really to make a significant... Well, this is actually quite a nice high, but still... started retracing down and then created a downward bearish move. So this section over here is on the hourly at least, the area where we started to turn bearish, with this area over here being 1, 2 consolidation over here, attempt to break lower. Okay, so I would say this section over here is the most... Yeah, that's where we are now. That's the most recent area to test. I don't know why I keep saying the most recent. It is definitely not recent. But it's the area that I think we will test first. And if it breaks through this point, then yes, we will probably carry on going higher. This is the hourly. Oh, wow, this actually looks quite nice over here. Breaks through, tests, moves down, attempts again. Or is it this area? This looks even better, doesn't it? Breaks down strongly out of it, attempts, fails, attempts, fails, pushes lower. Yeah, this is definitely the area that we need to break through. If we do break through on GU, break into it, attempt to go down a bit, push through, come down, and then carry on, then I can see us attempting to go to this top area. That might not even be today. We don't know, because we do have news. We have core retail sales, but core retail sales, it's a red folder, but I don't think it has the same impact that CPI, or for argument's sake, the unemployment claims, or even the non-farm payrolls would have. But still, it might be significant enough that we can have a push through this zone and then completely take up all of the liquidity that was sitting here for the last few weeks, and then just continue pushing through it. Depending on how strong or how let's say, how negative the core retail sales are, showing a slowing in the US economy. On the flip side, we could push into this area, could push in, and then attempt to push a little bit lower, take up the liquidity, and then absolutely just start tanking down. Also a wait to see moment, really. Let's look down at the 15 minutes. 15 minutes does look good still. London opens up with a nice big candle. This is a almost 10 pip candle, which is generally quite nice. We've opened up quite a bit higher than Tokyo. So this was Tokyo low. Okay. Just line it up. This is Tokyo low. Here we have Tokyo high. Tokyo high is here. We pushed above, we came back, we tested it, we continued up. So this is a break retest continuation. And then what did I want to mark? Yes, I also wanted to mark this area here as a 15-minute base. There was an hourly base. Yeah. Wait, maybe we should mark the hourly base. I think the hourly base might be a little bit more, a little bit stronger. Attempts to, yeah. So let's keep the hourly base here. So for me, GU looks pretty good. I do like GU a little bit more than EU. Actually, EU also looks pretty good now. Let's remove that. Okay, so this is. I don't think we're going to reach this point down here, unless news actually forces us to go down. All right, let me have a look, see if there's enough people in chat so that we can say good morning to everybody. First and foremost, MGN, good morning, bro. How are you this morning? I'm doing quite well. Thanks for asking. In the Wilds trades, good morning in the Wilds. How are you, my friend? It's good to see you again. It's been a minute. I saw you were having some discussions in the Discord, and I'm glad to see that everybody is it's quite active. It's quite nice to see. Hey, Pooley! It's my uncle from over the pond there. Good morning, all. I've just left you a lateness comment on tomorrow's stream. My bad. Well, I was going to say that a person of your stature, let's not say age, let's say stature, that has experienced a few things in life should maybe not forget to use thine glasses and read before thine comments. Yeah, well, yeah, MGN obviously like shitting out Pooley, well, not Pooley shitting us out for being late, and then, you know, the problem was with Pooley. I was wondering why MGN was not first in there. That's true. Good morning, wifey. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, sometimes we just, I don't know, like this morning, I feel awake, but my brain is not awake. Like my body is awake. I feel energized, and my legs don't feel like they're, you know, broken anymore from the weekend's jogging. But my brain is just mush this morning. I don't know. It's just mush. Morning, Mrs. Butler. The one and only. Oh, by the way, she helped me with the thumbnail for this specific stream today. The other two was Will's creation. So you can see Will, being a very colorful guy and whatnot, likes them colors. Morning, uncle-in-law. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Big match today for you, Maka. You got this, bro. Yes, for those who do not know, I will be trading against Samir, who is a trader from India who streams with the Fivers. I obviously stream with the Fivers now as well, usually with Will during the let's say, afternoon session just before New York Open, and they have a competition, a trading competition that pits all of their traders that trade on the live stream. Let's call them the streamers, the friends of the Fivers. They're all trading together in a no holds barred single elimination bracket. Last week they had the first sets. There were 8 matches, and this week they have another 8 matches. So this is what the bracket looks like. And I am over here against Samir. That will be 2 o'clock this afternoon, Central European Standard Time. So yeah, Samir is a good trader. I hope that I can show him that I'm a better trader, because look at this. Like, for the guys that's in here that were with LLTF, you'll see that up over here Will beat Griff, and then Rich beat Victor. So I think it would just make sense that another LLTF gumper like myself also gets the W. And then we know that all of the old LLTF community people are winners, and we're just better than everybody else. And I think that's the key takeaway from here, is that the old LLTF group and now the new Apex Brotherhood trading group, we're just better than everybody else. It's just, but we'll have to prove it. So yeah, that is something to look forward to. So please do go and show your love, even if you don't love me, wife. Show your support, and yeah, come and cheer me on. And yeah, hopefully I don't fuck up. That would be embarrassing. Not that I care. Butler. Take him out at the knees, mate. No mercy. That's usually how I go. Like, tall people fall the hardest when you sweep their feet from out from under them. 1 p.m. UK time, so Central European, I think it's 2 UTC plus 2, so UK time with UTC plus 1. So Central European Standard Time, I think, is UTC plus 2. So yes, that would be 1 o'clock UK time. So 2 o'clock for me, being 1 hour ahead. But yeah, that would be 1 p.m. for you guys. So yeah, come in and cheer me on. And even if you don't want to cheer me on, like, just rock up. Or if you want to vote against me, that's also true. Like, go with Samir. But know that I would consider you a traitor if you didn't vote for me. Yes. So, what is everybody looking at today? Who is trading what? I know GU and EU is looking good, but it still needs to build. It still needs to make a base for me, at least, before I can continue. Or let's not say continue, before I can enter a trade. I would want to see it come down a little bit, show that it wants to continue up, and then I will enter a buy on GU. And EU has made a lovely... This is actually a very nice base here. This is the one where we broke through that point. So this is quite nice. I do like this. And it's a base right in this area. So if it were to come down again, down here, then it will probably push up. But it seems as though it wants to make another bullish candle. See, so if I didn't mark any of these areas as an example, and I just went on the idea of rally-based rally entries, where the price is showing upward momentum. Obviously, we just broke above Tokyo high here. We attempted to go lower, didn't really create a new low. So that was the most recent low. Then we made another low, and then from there on we started pushing up, where this was the most recent high, which got swept here and closed above, and then a base candle created in that area, and then a continuation up. What could have been a very nice entry would have been, for argument's sake, the break, retest, and continue. Because technically this section here is a break and close. It's not a strong close, but then we had the continuation we could have entered somewhere there for a break and continuation trade, or we could have done the break with the rally, a base, and then a continuation rally, and then entered a 1-to-1 here or a 1-to-1 to 5. Something like that. Which would have been nice, because then my 10 pip stop loss would have been a little bit lower down than this base area. Which, if it were to start moving down again, let's say it retraces a little bit, hopefully this base candle will hold and it won't push through it. So my stop loss would be considered in a safe zone. That's at least what I would have done if I didn't have all of these areas marked up. But marking up the areas, I feel like gives you a good identifier of areas that potentially could be resistance or a support. Where I don't always mark them, but it was just good to see those areas specifically. I don't always really trade that way, where I look for where it could potentially go, where is potential reversal points, that far back, like on the 4 hourly time frame. What I do like doing is more like recent price movements. So yesterday is a good example, but I don't go further back all that much than yesterday to see, because the last 2 days is enough, or yesterday plus the Tokyo session is enough for me to see generally where I want to trade. So it's bullish for me. Bull, consolidation, bull, a slight pullback over here, and then consolidation, then a bull movement, then a base, and then another bull. I mean, you could always have done also on the 15-minute just your bull entries, but then obviously you'd have to have a slightly larger stop loss. So here you have the consolidation. You don't have a confirmation of breakout. What you do have is the fact that you have slightly higher lows that are created, and at the same time you are making slightly lower lows, but there's more wicks underneath, which would probably signify the want to push higher. So I know this is hindsight, but imagine you took the 15-minute bases. So it moves a little bit down, attempts to go up, moves a little bit down, makes this big wick, and then makes this big, nice engulfing, body engulfing candle. And you decide, you know what, I am going to enter there, and you say, I don't know, whatever amount that you're looking for, but then have your your stop loss lower than that previous wick, and then let's say go for a 1 to 2 as an example. Good enough. And then only trade during that section, and then it moves up during New York, and New York is showing a little bit of indecision, and then in Tokyo again we're seeing bullish movement, and then you have a bull move, a base, and then a continuation, and then you could have entered there yet again with the same idea, having it slightly lower than the most recent swing and going for a 1 to 2, which would have been hit already, as an example. Where was that? That one was there. Just something to consider looking at, because the thing that I've come to realize when it comes to EU and GU is that our pullbacks during a trend is not that strong. Usually you would have like a really nice deep pullback, but it seems as though, especially on the lower time frames, we're not getting those deep pullbacks anymore, to be dead honest. Okay, well, that was on the hourly. But yeah. Puli, do you want me to drop a heads up for the stream on the Fivers later? You know what, Puli, I think right now, let's not do that. I don't know what their policies are on shouting out other streams during their stream. So let's have a discussion with them first and just hear if we are allowed to, let's call it self-promote while there. So I'm not entirely sure. I can always talk to Will as well, because obviously Will is a streamer for them, and he might know a little bit more about their allowances, with whether or not they allow it. But yeah, for now I think maybe we should just hold off on that. I mean, there's other ways for us to let's say promote the stream without stepping on anybody's toes. Let's say that. I can always talk to Jordan as well from Trade Delicious and ask him whether or not we are allowed to do a little bit of promotion on the Trade Delicious group. Yeah, in the wilds, that is definitely something that I think we all learned from the LLTF days, was that community. Let's get together and help each other out. It's not just like for the sake of the stream. It's like I think, like you saw in the Discord itself, if somebody has a problem, there's somebody that's there to give some advice. If somebody's had a bad day, like what happened yesterday to me, I made a mistake on a gold trade, the people are there immediately to either give their condolences or to say, hey, listen, chin up, we'll try again tomorrow, that kind of like thing. I already did, lol. That is how some of you guys found us. Yeah, that is true. I was more referring to the idea of, let's not call it poaching. I don't want to poach people. But more of the idea of having like a small campaign to say, hey guys, come join us over here. But back to this, Puli has your back, love it. That's the thing about community. It's we stand by each other. I mean, yesterday on gold, I was not paying attention. I tried for a buy. I think it was somewhere over here. And I normally risk about, let's say, $100 as an example on gold, because I know it's volatile. I don't want crazy gains. I want small, consistent gains. So I would offer up $100 to try and make $150. So normally that is a 0.2 or a 0.1. On this specific day, I was unsure, so I thought, you know what, I will go with 0.1, which would have been $50 on a 50 pip stop loss. But what I had done is I had closed my terminal because it needed to update, and then I opened up the terminal again, and I didn't confirm what the lot size was on gold. So I went and I clicked 0.1, and then I pressed enter, and then I entered the buy. The problem was it was on 1. And when I clicked on the section where you select your lot size and I pressed 0.1, it didn't pick up the 0.1 at all, because I hadn't selected it properly. I just clicked on it, and I don't know exactly why, but the point is being that I ended up putting in a 1.0 lot size, which was 10 times more than what I intended to put in, and was 5 times more than what I normally would have risked. And I was looking at gold after I put in the trade, and I wasn't really looking at the information. So I put the trade in on this. So it was a rally, and then it based, and then it showed it wanted another rally. So I put the trade in here. And what I would normally do is I would go gold long, something like this. All right. And I carried on looking at it, didn't look at the chart or at the terminal. And so in my mind, I know $100. That's where my risk is. So I'm expecting to see, even if it's running in drawdown, for it to be 30, 40, 50, that kind of like thing, dollars. Even though my intention was to do $50 risk. So I was expecting to see 10, 20, 30 instead of 50. And I look at my terminal and I realize that thing is showing $200 in drawdown, and I freak out. I'm like, what the actual F? happened? What's going on here? And I just look a little bit towards the left and I see the lot size or the volume and I see it's 1. I was like, oh, fuck. Closed the trade immediately. And it ended up being a $260 loss. So it was on $2.60 drawdown at that point. It would have eventually hit my my stop loss, but it's not the point. That's not like that's not the takeaway. The takeaway is that because I did not confirm entering my lot size properly and then say, okay, cool, now I see what I want to see, and I entered, I instead went on the assumption that I had done the right thing and then entered. I would have been happy, I would have been content if this was a loss, but a $50 loss. A $500 loss, that is a little bit more than I would. That's a hell of a lot more, let's say, than I would have wanted to lose. When, in general, I want to lose about $100 on a trade. So yeah, that was quite the kick in the testes, that one, for myself, and I was actually quite embarrassed. I wasn't angry, and I was more embarrassed over the fact that I had made such a rookie mistake. Now, obviously, in hindsight, sitting here and looking at it, thinking, you know what, I understand what went wrong. I'm not going to make that same mistake again. I'm going to work on paying attention. And I remember there was something that Will and Rich used to talk about during the LLTF days, where they were talking about having a, what do you call it? Like a checklist that you can mark off. And I know that Jonathan on the Fivers also mentions this quite a bit. Have a checklist that you can always go back to and say, okay, before I enter a trade, is this in place? Is this in place? Is this in place? Have something that you can say, okay, cool, this is right, this is not right. Let me go and make sure that this is right. Okay, cool. Let me change my lot size. Okay, now it is what I want my risk to be, and then carry on. And I think something like that, a reminder of sorts that I can maybe like just put up here on the wall before I enter a trade, just have a look at it and say, okay, I need to check this, I need to confirm that. Yeah. And that is one of those things. It's just like, okay. All right. On GU, we had a lovely reaction on this area, on this nice little box that I drew. That is a strong candle pushing down. The question is, are we going to push into this little area here and break through it? Or are we going to... We're going to break through it and then retest and then continue down? Or are we going to wick into it and then start pushing up higher again and then testing these highs up over here? Time will tell. True muckers. Whoa, Bailey. Good morning, Bailey. How are you, my friend? It's been a minute. You're like... I don't know, you're like the Dark Knight. We never really see you. And then you just pitch up and then you beat everybody up and then you disappear again. It's good to see you. Happy to see you're in the stream with us. In the wild straits, yeah, been there in my case, mixing up contracts on futures. Now, my knowledge on futures contracts is limited because I don't trade futures. So you're going to have to give me some examples of what would be a cock-up for a futures one. I know that some of them are like, for argument's sake, a mini contract would be, for argument's sake, and correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, would be like a $20 per tick kind of like thing. And if you accidentally went from a micro contract to a slightly larger one, that could be from $20 to $200 a tick, as an example. So yeah, that sounds dangerous. Yeah, I'm decent, been super busy, laugh my ass off. Bailey, what have you been busy with that is like, that you can like not pitch up, for the stream and, like interact and chat? Are you still painting? What's happening? Tell us what's happening in the life of Bailey BFX. So, Pooley, in the wilds, have you traded with Apex Greek God? I've just opened a 50k one. Pooley, is this you self-promoting another prop firm? What's going on here? What's this? The only prop firm that you're allowed to trade with is the Apex Brotherhood soon-to-be prop firm. Because we're a cult, remember that. So stay within the cult. I'm just joking, obviously. How is that 50k going, by the way, Pooley? In the wilds, I trade micro gold contracts, which is a tenth of the size of a standard contract. 10 micros each equals 1 standard contract. All right. So if you've made a bit of a cock up, you would go and accidentally make a standard contract instead of, let's say, a micro contract, 1 micro contract as an example. So yeah, 10 times the risk. That, look, if you catch it on the right side, then that's amazing. Then it's just like, whoa, I just made X amount of money, 10 times more than I normally would have. But what if that thing just goes against you and you just lose half of your expected drawdown, like what you're allowed to lose. You lose just half of it in one trade. Oh, I don't know if I would sleep for a week if I did something like that. Bailey saying, 2 kids, run a business, getting ready for holiday, trading myself, doing some renovations in the house, so much stuff. Well, I'm happy that you took some time out of your incredibly busy schedule to just peek your head in here with us and just, be a part of the community. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much, Bailey. Speaking of holidays, our lovely Will, the Count Conqueror Davies, is currently in France. He will be on the Fiverr stream this afternoon, but I think in the mornings, as we've discussed yesterday, he's enjoying his lay-in with the missus a little bit too much. So, yeah, you go and enjoy that holiday. I told the same thing to Will. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in the Apex Brotherhood that is going to really kick off, let's say, after the holiday season. So potentially January, maybe February, somewhere around there. And there's a lot of stuff that we have in the background that we've got planned that once it starts going, there's not going to be time for any holidays. So go and enjoy your holiday, rest up, come back refreshed, and, get ready to kick the market in the teeth, that kind of thing. So yeah, thank you for being here. Sorry. Ooh, better get mates rates. Yep, that is true. Everybody's going to get the 5, let's say the Apex Brotherhood 5% discount. It's going to be more than 5%, hopefully. I'm up $200 at the moment. Need to get to 3K before I can start making money with them. Well, profit is profit, mate. So $200 out of a potential 3K that you need to make, that is a step in the right direction. Well, gotta say hi. And we do appreciate it, Bailey. Thank you once again. In the wilds, multiple standard contracts by mistake and blew an account. Can you imagine that you were this close to passing a prop account as an example, an evaluation account, and you've been the most diligent, disciplined trader. Everything is going as planned. You're risking exactly the right amount every time. Your trades are working out. You're following your plan. Yes, you're getting some losers, but overall, you have pristine trading going through. And then, just as you're about to pass your evaluation, you make just a little bit of a cock up, and you go in with multiple standard contracts versus your mini contract that you normally would have done, and then you just absolutely burn that account to the ground. I would be distraught. Mrs. Butler is on here. Keep it clean, Richard. You should hear her talk. She is as filthy minded as I am. There's a reason why she married me, and it's because she herself is also a decrepit person in her mind. She is filthy. She's clean, obviously, but mentally filthy. Absolute degenerate. Pulley, no, not yet. How are you finding them? In the wilds, quite good, to be honest. I use the Tradervate platform which took this old fossil a while to get used to. See, that's one thing. Lies. Oh, you know I'm not lying. You are just as decrepit as I am. I know your friends. I know them. I know them personally. I know what kind of people they are. Well, they're my friends too. So I know. Speaking of Tradeovate, there's a trading platform in South Africa that I've had zero experience with, and I was playing around with another prop firm's information, just seeing what it was about, and they use a platform, a web-based platform that MGN knows quite well, and the South African platform was IQ Option, and man, it took me a minute to get used to their trading platform. Now, obviously, MGN had experience with it and knew how to trade with it, but myself, I had none. So I tried putting in a one lot trade just to test, but the way that their lots are calculated, they don't use lots, they just straight up use the actual physical volume. So $100,000 is one lot. They would, instead of working on the lots, they would just go in the dollar value. So you would offer up $300,000, so 3 lots, that kind of like thing. And I didn't know that. So I thought that it was in lots. So I put in 3, and then it's like, you can't trade this. And I'm like, what? Why not? So I try 5, and it's like, no, you can't trade. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I was like, oh, maybe it's actual physical dollar value. So one contract size, 100,000. Okay, cool. So let me try 100,000. And then the movement is like the same as with a one lot size, as an example. And it took me a while to get out of that sequence of always thinking, okay, lots is equal to this per pip, and then there's your trade, there's your risk, and then you go on. With that one, it was just a little bit different. And then C Trader as well, like going over and trying to learn C Trader was also, you're so used to the platforms and the terminals that you use that sometimes it just is way too much effort to go and learn something new. Even Trade Locker, I've gone through Trade Locker as well for TradingView, and I get it. It's nice because you're doing your analysis and you're trading straight on one platform, especially because TradingView is so nice for the actual drawing up of stuff, where MetaTrader is not that nice for it. But if you're trading and analyzing on the same market, same platform, then yeah, that's fine. So the Trade Locker seemed okay. But once again, I think it's maybe just the fact that I'm lazy and don't, or maybe I'm like Pooley. I'm a bit of a fossil, just too used to what I'm used to. I don't know if that makes sense. All right, so Pound has started to slow its downward momentum. So another 10 minutes, and then this 15-minute candle will close. However, this is a double base, triple base, technically, all the way down here. So this might be the start of a change. So maybe push up a little bit and then continue back down again. So we might have a potential change in direction due to the reaction that we've had on this 15-minute. What does it look like on the hourly? 9 more minutes, long wick. There is a potential for it to come back again and test it, or to go move down. Let's look at the 4-hourly. The 4-hourly is still looking pretty good. 4-hourly is still looking very bullish. But we could have something like what happened here, where we have a deeper than normal pullback before it attempts to start going up, and then by that time we will most probably be during news for the next 4-hour, the 2 following 4-hour candles. Bailey, if you're still in, are you seeing anything specifically? Because I know that you tend to use the 4-hourly a little bit more on your EU and GU areas. Are you also on the idea of a bullish bias? or do you see a potential for a downward move to initiate? Even though right now I think GU does look like it wants to continue higher. So as an example, I'm just going to mark this up with a 1-to-1, which doesn't look bad. I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not taking this trade. I'm just marking it up. And then, oh, this was the one that I marked earlier. See, very deep drawdown or pullback into this 15, well, in this case, 5-minute base. I'm just going to move this out of the way. I know it was on the close of this candle. 5-minute base, so rally, base, rally, base, rally, and then a pullback back into this one, and then a continuation up. Over here, after this confirmation of it pushing higher, you could have entered on the close of that candle, as an example, for another bullish trade. And then you can maybe trade without a take profit and just have your stop loss in, and then let's say take off half of your risk when you reach, for argument's sake, 10 pips, or when you reach the local high, like the low-hanging fruit of Wills. Don't trade Will's low-hanging fruit. They're currently in possession of Cece, and she'll fight you for them. And then maybe you can decide to take off the other half when you've reached another point a little bit higher, and then you can alternatively also just move your stop loss a little bit higher as the trade plays out. But yeah, so I'm just going to move this one back to here where it was and put it back to that. So that was the idea earlier. Let's see what GU is busy doing. So GU is not really moving upward. So this is potentially the idea of a new drop base and then drop again, but that begs to be seen, because the 15-minute is still a bullish candle, even though it is not strong bullish, but it's still bullish. So I'm just going to leave this one here as just as an indicator for myself. And then later today, when I'm busy with the stream, I have a plan, and my plan is going to be we are allowed 3% drawdown in total. So we've been given a 20k high stakes account, and this not high stakes, hyper growth. We were given a hyper growth account, and this hyper growth account has a 3% daily loss stop out, or pause, let's rather say. So we are only allowed to trade for 1 hour and have 3% to play with. Now, out of all of the people that have competed, only Will has been in profit. All the other people have basically won by default. So it was whomever was the best loser, pretty much. Tom Hugard's book, Best Loser Wins, right? So literally, the best losers in this case won. And one of the guys ended up winning by literally $1. He had $1 more on his account, but he already lost like $270 something out of the $300 that he was allowed to, or it was actually $600 that he was allowed to lose. He had lost $570 something. He had, I think it was $24 or $25 left, and he won by $1. So my idea is that I'm going to split up my trades for that hour into 6 pairings. So the first 3 pairings that I'm going to have is going to be, let's say 0.25% as an example. And let's say I find an opportunity on GU, I'll enter a 0.25% one on GU with the idea of leaving it to run the full hour. So just enter and then see where it ends. Then the follow-up trade that I will do on that one is once I have a confirmation of the direction for that half hour. Let's say I have a little bit of profit, and I know, okay, now we're moving bullish for this time frame. Then I'm going to up the amount that I have to play with, and it's going to be the rest of the 2% for that, or 1% for that specific trade. So if I start on 0.25, it's going to be a 0.75% for that one, plus the other like 1% that I have on, for argument's sake, EU or gold, because I'm only going to be focusing on the 3, and if I have a movement on one of the 3, I'm going to go all in on the follow-up trade. So 1% on GU, 1% on EU, and 1% on gold, and whichever one is the one that starts moving the best for that hour is the one that I'm going to pump into. So if I lose, I lose. It's one of those things that, you know, like, I have a plan, I'm going to test it, and we'll see how it goes. I get why a bull represents upward movement. But why is downward bearish? Like, bears are pretty aggro. It's the bull idea is it's a bull run. So you're talking about upward moving. It's doing a bull run. It's a strong movement. Bear for bearish, I'm not entirely sure where the bear analogy comes from, but it could be that you're bearing down, as in you're moving downward, you're bearing down on something. So bull run versus bearing down, that's the kind of idea that I have for it. Never really focused on that, to be dead honest. So, but thank you for asking the question for today's thumbnail, which is bear versus bull markets. Pooley, yeah, trader weight does take some getting used to. I still recommend Top Step. If you're going into the futures world, they've been around the longest. That's some nice information if anybody would like to, go into futures. You have retail sales at 13:30 UK time. They should give you some volatility. Yeah, that is true. That was one thing that I was looking at. It's the core sales and the retail sales. But the thing is, graph-wise, it hasn't really had much difference from the forecast. But the impact of it, like, let's say for argument's sake, we can see when was the last one, was August the 15th, where we had the forecast and the actual being very similar, or in general it's had a little bit more positive versus its expectation. So if I go to the 15th of August on TradingView, so let's just go here to the 15th of August, which was a Friday, and I just go and have a look. Let's see what reaction the market had on that day. So the same time, the time was, it's probably going to be the same time, 2:30 by us. So 2:30 is this candle. So initially it dropped down, and then being in line with it, it started moving up again. So if I'm fortunate, what was the size of this move? That was 13 pips. So if I can get in on the right place with my 0.25%, and it pushes down and then makes a nice little wick, I can always then decide to, for argument's sake, at this lowest point, look for an entry to go higher, just as an example. Now, obviously, past results is no guarantee for future results, but you kind of get the gist that whatever risk I'm going to be putting in, the initial one is going to be a feeler, a little bit of a test one, knowing that there's high impact news. And then after that reaction from the high impact news, I'm just going to trade it. Because we don't own these accounts. These are literally just for the competition. So it doesn't matter if I lose that evaluation. It cost me nothing. So I'm going to go crazy for it. In the wilds, I'll look at them too. Apex was only $18 first month, and then I think $35 thereafter until you pass the evaluation. Mr. Butter probably won't have time to tune in your stream later, but you go show them how it's done, as long as you don't fat finger your lot size, of course. Now, hopefully that fat finger is going to be in my direction. But if it isn't, then I can just feign ignorance and say, "Oh, well, I didn't even notice I went that much." But thank you for the support. All right, man. You do you, and enjoy the rest of your days in the wilds. It's great for you to see you back in with us. Hopefully, you'll rock up every morning. Just so you know, we only live Mondays through to Wednesdays for the time being. And then another thing as well, guys, I wanted to ask your opinion. Are you happy with the UK open time slot that we have now, meaning 8 o'clock UK time until 9 o'clock UK time? Or would you guys find it a little bit easier to pitch up a little bit later, let's say half an hour to an hour later, and or we move the end time a little bit on? So give me your inputs. If you don't give your inputs here on the chat, you can always do it in Discord, and then we can have a nice little discussion, because this is just the start. This is just the start of the Apex Brotherhood. We have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of stuff that we want to do. So we want to be catering to you. That's the idea. So whatever you guys are comfortable with, we will try and take those into consideration. So just keep that in mind, guys, and then we can have a discussion about that later. Yep, I will try. UK time is great for me, by the way. Yeah, because I think most of the guys in chat and in the Discord is in any way based on UK time. So, but if it's UK time, like London Open, or half an hour after London Open, or an hour, or that kind of like thing, I think we can. It's a democracy. We can discuss this, and then I can completely ignore everything that you have to say and do my own thing in any way. Probably 8 to 9:30 would be good, and then onto the Fivers at 9:30. Oh yeah, because Fivers opens up at 9:30 or starts streaming at 9:30. That's true. We can always do that, extended by half an hour. Yeah, that we can definitely do as well, Puli. So yeah, Puli's got his vote in for extending it by half an hour. You may get called onto the Fivers at 9:32. Maybe. My slot is from 12 until 2 my time, so 11 until 1, I think, for you guys. That's my slot. My slot is along with Will's. But yeah, you never know. I might get called on a little bit earlier. But for the time being, I'm still with Will's slot, which is the 11:30 until 1 o'clock UK time slot. Right, so this is turning into a bearish movement at the moment. So first leg, base, and then continuation lower. Another thing that I can see here is that we are now pushing lower than this previous consolidation area. This is on the 15-minute, it's quite a downward movement. It's large volumetric candles. We are pushing lower than the 20 EMA. We're just wicking into the Tokyo high. So let's see what reaction we're going to have off of this one. Let's have a look at EU. EU, same idea. Consolidating a little bit, made a higher high. Wait, let me just move this out of the way. Made a high, pulled back, made a higher high, pulled back even more. So this could also potentially be a opportunity for us to push back into Tokyo again. So I'm again just going to leave that one there. So yeah. Oh guys, look at the time. It's already been an hour. Wow. That hour went quick. Not gonna lie, that was a quick hour. Gold also is starting to do a bit of a pullback, even though I think we can still make a push higher. What does the hourly look like? Yeah, I think we can still push a little bit higher. I mean, we're so close to all-time highs, aren't we? Wait, let's check the daily. Oh no, this is all-time highs. Oh crap. We took out the all-time highs on the other day. What was this? Tuesday last week. So yeah, to the moon. Let's go to the moon. All right, guys, I'm going to call the stream here. Thank you to everybody that pitched up. I am really appreciative of you guys' support. Tomorrow we will have everybody in again, hopefully, and we can have a nice little discussion, because tomorrow is going to be a CPI day at 8 o'clock, so I will probably not be taking any trades during that time. And then we also have the federal rates, funds rates information in the afternoon, or the evening in that case, 12 hours later. So all the time in between, there might not be a lot of movement with the anticipation of the rate funds, the funds rate. Why do I keep saying rates funds? The funds rate change, the anticipation of it. So tomorrow we can just have a nice little discussion. We can just sit and talk crap the whole day, the whole time. But yes, right, Mr. Butler, get stretching, get into right headspace, visualize success, and then kick his arse. Mate, I am going to do exactly that. I'm about to go have some breakfast, have a nice little coffee, sit outside, touch grass, look at the sun, get my headspace right, and then I'm going to go in there with the intention to slaughter. All right, guys. Once again, thank you very much for being with me today. Really appreciative. You guys are awesome. See you guys this afternoon and have a great one. Cheers.